Part 5, Action Please. Success Quotient Analysis. Chapter 20. Now it's time to test your own success quotient. Remember, your only real limitation is that which you set up in your own mind, or accept as insurmountable. You have read all but the last 3 chapters of success through a positive mental attitude. And now would be a good time to take a look at your own mental attitude. And you can do this for yourself. But before you do, we want you to know our attitude is, the burden of teaching is upon the person who wants to teach. And with whom does the burden of learning lie? Perhaps J. Milburn Smith has the answer. Now J. Milburn Smith rose from assistant to the office boy to president of the Continental Casualty Company of Chicago. He told us, the burden of learning is on the person who wants to learn, not on the person who wants to teach. And he also said, a have-not asterisk is a person who believes that an idea is not good for him unless he himself originates it. And I say, copy from Success. Everything I have done I have borrowed from another person or business. And he continued, be respectful and listen to those who have experience. For the experienced man had something I wanted. And that's why I associated with older and successful men. For I took what they had, the good, their knowledge and experience, but not their weaknesses. And then I added this to what I had. Thus I profited even by their mistakes as well as my own. To learn one must pay the price. And I was willing to pay it, for I was not taught. I learned knowledge. You must seek it out. Copy from Success, says J. Milburn Smith. And you can begin by asking yourself some questions. Am I willing to pay the price? Am I willing to take the good, the knowledge and the experience, but not the weaknesses of the men I have read about in this book? And if your answer is yes, then we have a suggestion that we know will help you. But let's first remind you that as you have time to test your own success quotient. And if your answer is yes, then we have a suggestion that we know will help you. But let's first remind you that as you have read the pages of this book, you have frequently been called upon to answer questions about yourself. And although these may have appeared to have been simple questions, in reality, is there anything harder than to evaluate oneself correctly? Know thyself is probably the most difficult admonition ever given to man. And to assist you to know thyself, the authors have prepared a personal analysis questionnaire which has helped many men and women to do this more satisfactorily. You have already taken many tests: intelligence, aptitude, personality, vocabulary, and all the rest. But this one is different. We call it your success quotient analysis. And it is based on the 17 success principles which have been responsible for the worthwhile achievements of the world's outstanding leaders in all fields. It has many purposes. To direct your thoughts in desired channels. To crystallize your own thinking. To indicate your present position on the road to success. To encourage you to decide exactly where you want to be. To measure your chances of reaching your desired destination. To indicate your present ambitions and other characteristics. To motivate you to desirable action with PMA. Our suggestion. And now our suggestion is that you immediately try to answer the following success quotient analysis, thoughtfully and truthfully, to the best of your ability. Try not to fool yourself. For this test will be valid only if you answer every question with the truth as you now see it. Success quotient analysis. 1. Definiteness of purpose. Yes, no. A. Have you decided upon a major goal in life? Yes, no. B. Have you set a time limit for reaching that goal? Yes, no. C. Do you have specific plans for achieving your goal in life? Yes, no. D. Have you determined what definite benefits your goal in life will bring you? Yes, no. 2. Positive mental attitude. A. Do you know what is meant by a positive mental attitude? Yes, no. B. Do you control your mental attitude? Yes, no. C. Do you know the only thing over which anyone has complete power of control? Yes, no. D. Do you know how to detect a negative mental attitude in yourself and others? Yes, no. E. Do you know how to make PMA a habit? Yes, no. 3. Going the extra mile. A. Do you make a habit of rendering more and better service than you are paid for? Yes, no. B. Do you know when an employee is entitled to more pay? Yes, no. C. Do you know of anyone who has achieved success in any calling without doing more than he was paid to do? Yes, no. D. Do you believe anyone has a right to expect an increase in salary unless he is doing more than he is paid for? Yes, no. E. If you were your own employer, would you be satisfied with the sort of service you are now rendering as an employee? Yes, no. 4. Accurate thinking. A. Do you make it your duty constantly to learn more about your occupation? Yes, no. B. Is it your habit to express opinions on subjects with which you are not familiar? Yes, no. C. Do you know how to find the facts when you need knowledge? Yes, no. 5. Self-discipline. A. Do you hold your tongue when angry? Yes, no. B. Is it your habit to speak before you think? Yes, no. C. Do you lose your patience easily? Yes, no. D. Are you generally even-tempered? Yes, no. E. Is it your habit to allow your emotions to overpower your reason? Yes, no. 6. The mastermind. A. Are you influencing other people to help you attain your goal in life? Yes, no. B. Do you believe that a person can succeed in life without the aid of others? Yes, no. C. Do you believe a man can easily succeed in his occupation if he is opposed by his wife or other members of his family? Yes, no. D. Are there advantages when an employer and an employee work together in harmony? Yes, no. E. Are you proud when a group to which you belong is praised? Yes, no. 7. Applied faith. A. Do you have faith in infinite intelligence? Yes, no. B. Are you a person of integrity? Yes, no. C. Do you have confidence in your ability to do what you decide to do? Yes, no. D. Are you reasonably free from these 7 basic fears? Yes, no. 1. Fear of poverty. 2. Fear of criticism. 3. Fear of ill health. 4. Fear of loss of love. 5. Fear of loss of liberty. 6. Fear of old age. 7. Fear of death? Yes, no. 8. Pleasing personality. A. Are your habits offensive to others? Yes, no. B. Is it your habit to apply the golden rule? Yes, no. C. Are you liked by those with whom you work? Yes, no. D. Do you bore others? Yes, no. 9. Personal initiative. A. Do you plan your work? Yes, no. B. Must your work be planned for you? Yes, no. C. Do you possess outstanding qualities not possessed by others in your line of work? Yes, no. D. Is it your habit to procrastinate? Yes, no. E. Is it your habit to try to create better plans for doing your work more efficiently? Yes, no. 10. Enthusiasm. A. Are you an enthusiastic person? Yes, no. B. Do you direct your enthusiasm toward carrying out your plans? Yes, no. C. Does your enthusiasm overpower your judgment? Yes, no. 11. Controlled attention. A. Is it your habit to concentrate your thoughts on what you are doing? Yes, no. B. Are you easily influenced to change your plans or your decisions? Yes, no. C. Are you inclined to abandon your aims and plans when you meet opposition? Yes, no. D. Do you keep working regardless of unavoidable distractions? Yes, no. 12. Teamwork. A. Do you get along harmoniously with others? Yes, no. B. Do you grant favors as freely as you ask them? Yes, no. C. Do you have frequent disagreements with others? Yes, no. D. Are there great advantages in friendly cooperation among coworkers? Yes, no. E. Are you aware of the damage one can cause by not cooperating with coworkers? Yes, no. 13. Learning from defeat. A. Does defeat cause you to stop trying? Yes, no. B. If you fail in a given effort, do you keep trying? Yes, no. C. Is temporary defeat the same as failure? Yes, no. D. Have you learned any lessons from defeat? Yes, no. E. Do you know how defeat can be converted into an asset that will lead to success? Yes, no. 14. Creative vision. A. Do you use your imagination constructively? Yes, no. B. Do you make your own decisions? Yes, no. C. Is the man who only follows instructions always worth more than the man who also creates new ideas? Yes, no. D. Are you inventive? Yes, no. E. Do you create practical ideas in connection with your work? Yes, no. F. When desirable, do you seek sound advice? Yes, no. 15. Budgeting time and money. A. Do you save a fixed percentage of your income? Yes, no. B. Do you spend money without regard to your future source of income? Yes, no. C. Do you get sufficient sleep each night? Yes, no. D. Is it your habit to employ spare time studying self-improvement books? Yes, no. 16. Maintenance of sound health. A. Do you know 5 essential factors of sound health? Yes, no. B. Do you know where sound health begins? Yes, no. C. Are you aware of the relation of relaxation to sound health? Yes, no. D. Do you know the 4 important factors necessary for the proper balancing of sound health? Yes, no. E. Do you know the meaning of hypochondria and psychosomatic illness? Yes, no. 17. Using cosmic habit force as it pertains to your personal habits. A. Do you have habits which you feel you cannot control? Yes, no. B. Have you recently eliminated undesirable habits? Yes, no. C. Have you recently developed any new, desirable habits? Yes, no. Here's how to rate your answers. All of the following questions should have been answered no. 3C, 3D, 4B, 5B, 5C, 5E, 6B, 6C, 8A, 8D, 9B, 9D, 10C, Lib, 11C, 12C, 13A, 13C, 14C, 15B, 17A. All other questions should have been answered yes. Your score would have been 300 if all the questions had been answered no or yes as shown above. This is a perfect score and very few people have ever made such a score. Now let's see what your score was. Number of yes answers instead of no, x4 equals if you answered no to any of the remaining questions that should have been answered yes, deduct 4 points for each one. Number of no answers instead of yes x4 equals add the subtotals together, and subtract from 300. This will be your score. Illustration, number of yes answers instead of no, 3x4 equals 12 number of no answers instead of yes, 2x4 equals 8 total number of wrong answers, 20 perfect score, 300 minus total number of wrong answers, 20 your score, 280 find your rating below, 300 points, perfect, very rare. 275 to 299 points, good, above average. 200 to 274 points, fair, average, 100 to 199 points, poor, below average, below 100 points, unsatisfactory. You have now taken an important step to success and happiness. You have tried to answer the questions in this success quotient analysis searchingly and honestly. If not, you will. Now the important thing to remember is that these results are not final and unchangeable. If you scored high, it means you will be able to assimilate and practice the principles in this book rather quickly. If your score was not so high, don't despair, apply PMA. You can achieve great success in life. When you need help from a psychologist to find out what business or profession you may be fitted for, he will frequently ask you to take a battery of tests. The picture that emerges from these tests may show you what your particular tendencies are. However, the psychologist does not regard the result of these tests as final. He always arranges for a personal interview to find out that which a test will not answer. He uses the results of the tests and the interview to counsel you and to evaluate your progress. In the same way, you can use the first score on the questionnaire as a means of measuring your own ever-growing success quotient. Read success through a positive mental attitude from cover to cover once more. And again. And again. Read it aloud with your husband, wife, or a close friend, discussing it point by point. Read it until every principle becomes a part of your life, motivating your every action. Then, when you have earnestly applied these principles for 3 months, take the SQ test again. Not only will many wrong answers become right ones, but answers you gave correctly the first time will be more emphatic and confident. Your success quotient can serve you as more than a yardstick, however. It can serve to underline those areas where you need to work hardest for self-improvement. It will also reveal your areas of special strength. For your future is ahead of you. You have the power to direct your thoughts and control your emotions. Just awaken the sleeping giant within you. How? You will find your answer in the next chapter.